All right. How's it going, everybody? Thanks for joining me. I'm actually just getting a message from Opulence that they might not be able to make it. So that is unfortunate timing for sure. So what I might do instead, if the Opulence team can't make it, um, we might have to just postpone this. So I'm sorry if you're on here watching. He just sent me a message just now, so very bad timing. We could do just a little bit of QA, question and answer. If you guys maybe an AMA with me, if you guys have anything in particular you want to talk about. I know some people have been asking about COTPS, so we could talk about that. Although people tell me they've been having trouble withdrawing, so that was actually something I was going to look into today. Was if able to withdraw on that. If there's any projects that you guys want to hear a little bit about. The secret project, which I'm not allowed to put on YouTube. On YouTube, some people are asking me about. No, I can't, unfortunately. So I'm just going to say it real quickly, but it's Hyperfund is the name. But for some reason in their policies, they say you cannot do YouTube videos about them. Okay, and there's definitely some MLM vibes to the project, and I think that they're worried about regulation and things like that, which is why they don't allow it on YouTube. So again, if you want more info about Hyperfund, you can shoot me a message and I can send you a link and all that. Some people say they have trouble withdrawing from Hyperfund. I've never had any problems, so take it with what you will. It is a little bit degen, but hey, JB, thank you, man. Appreciate you dropping a like. So again, for those of you just joining me, the Opulence team just let me know that they weren't able to make it to the live here right now. So it was like right when I was hitting the go live button. So that was kind of bad timing, but you know, it is what it is. Things pop up. I understand that. So does anybody have any questions, anything that they want to talk over? I haven't even really checked the markets for the day. Let me do that first. Let's check where we're at. What's the deal with the secret project? Yeah, so that's it's Hyperfund. I'll leave a comment with the info on it. So it's, you know, consider it pretty degen. Here's a comment. Consider it fairly degen, this Hyperfund, but I've been in it since like July and have been able to withdraw. It gets 0.5% a day, and it's just been going. So JC Crypto's here. Thank you, man. He is my drip buddy. So I've appreciated his help. He always keeps me in the loop about what's going on with Animal Farm too. Well, by the way, while we're talking about Animal Farm, so let me share how the market's doing here. So not great. Luna's up 400%. I wouldn't touch Luna. By the way, some people have been asking, hey, is it a good time to get into Luna? I wouldn't recommend it. The reason being, let me show you. If you've never used this tool, this is kind of a cool way to check what is the potential for a certain price to be. So we'll say Luna, and we'll say that it got, you know, the market cap really boosted up. We'll say if it had the market cap of like Dogecoin. Okay, so it went back to so the highest that you could expect Luna to go from here is 4x, and that's if it like rocketed way back up to the market cap of Dogecoin. I don't think that's going to happen. Okay, so I would stay away from Luna personally, even though it's up. You know, sometimes we see that something like that, and we're like, oh, I should get in. I should get in. Maybe some yesterday might have been worth it, but not today. I wouldn't recommend it. So. Let's see who else is around here. Father Earth is here. Thanks you, man, for coming. Again, this was going to be an AMA with Opulence. They weren't able to make it, so I'm just gonna. It probably won't be as long as most of my lives. I'll just kind of do a little QA. You guys, we can talk about whatever you guys want to. Serial Degen's here. How you doing, man? It's good to see you. Jay Shaw, James, thanks, man. I got an email from you. James always is sending me emails, and I take forever to get back to him. My email situation is in bad shape right now, so I did hire an assistant to kind of help me, but I'm sitting on about 190 unread emails. So I'm working on it. But thank you, man, for he's in Brussels right now, so he's kind of a world traveler a little bit. So James, it's good to talk to you. Hope you're doing well. Um, let's see. I'm getting ready to get into Grape. Do you have a good entry strategy for a long-term investment with them? So kind of how I like to play Grape, and these are kind of my goals for all the tune forks that I'm in. Um, you kind of have to really know whether or not peg is something that's going to be regularly hit. So, for example, like bomb.money has not been hitting peg for quite a while. So you have a different strategy when and see they're well under peg now. So you almost in something like bomb.money where you're well under peg, you almost have to kind of just ignore the boardroom. And so that gives you a different strategy, right? But great, they were under peg when the markets all crashed, but I believe they were back over peg yesterday. Yeah, and so they're already back over peg. And one of the reasons that they are is because it's way easier to maintain peg when your TVL's down. Oh, they're up at 5 million, but when the TVL is lower, it's easier to maintain peg. So with peg up, then kind of my goal for Grape is you want to have a big chunk in the Grape MIM liquidity pool. So, and it's kind of a combination. So these nodes are giving really good returns, but these are you lose your initial. Okay, so you don't want to just compound these forever. So they give really good return, but it's locked. Okay, so the difference between that and getting in like the Grape MIM liquidity pool is that's going to be a much lower daily APR, but it's not locked. I can take out this Grape MIM anytime. So I kind of get like a good base in these nodes since they're having such high daily APRs. And then once you're producing a good amount of grape and wine a day, then you can get into this Grape MIM liquidity pool. And it's real easy. You can just zap in grape. So if you're producing grape from your nodes, then you can zap it into this Grape MIM liquidity pool. And just know you're going to get a lower APR here, but it's going to accumulate. Like it's going to get bigger and you can take it out whenever you want. And since they are printing, then this winery is actually it's only at 0.8% a day. So that's pretty unusual. Usually like the boardroom in these tune forks produces much higher. But yeah, if you guys would like to talk over what a tune fork is, I'd love to do that because I think they're the most powerful thing right now in DeFi. So let me know if you'd be interested in talking about that. But then I'm also just on Beefy here. I kind of just keep adding a little bit to my, is Beefy down? Oh no, okay. I keep adding to, this is, Beefy even considers this low risk because these are supposed to be pegged to each other, so there's not a lot of impermanent loss. So I kind of put a little bit into there from time to time and just treat that as like a high risk, high yield savings account, but not as high of risk as UST. So let me know if you want to talk about that sometime. What are you buying right now? The answer is if I was going to put a significant amount of money into something right now, I'm not really buying anything right now just because these markets are crazy. Like yesterday, a couple days ago, we were down 60%. And then yesterday we were up 40%. And then today we're down, and Bitcoin's kind of the best one just to keep an eye on. That's going to kind of says what the rest of the market's going to do. So we're down another 5% today. So there's not a ton. I'm dollar cost averaging into, I kind of showed you guys some of my trading bots, which I'll bring those up. I have those on KuCoin, but I have these trading bots. So I'm dollar cost averaging Bitcoin and I'm dollar cost averaging DAG and Flux. And then I'm also I have an AMA coming up with BioFi, which is a project on DAG that I really believe in long term. So I'm going to start dollar cost averaging into BioFi also. They're on AVAX. So I'm kind of there's not a lot of short-term plays. I'm kind of looking at Horde. They've been surprising to me that I didn't know they're supposed to be kind of like a stable coin that sticks between 95 and 105. And I really wasn't sure how they would do when the market crashed. But they've been doing that. They've been sticking in there. So, as I'm looking for, hey, what will probably have some good short-term returns? It looks like Horde, their plan is working so far. So Are you playing that Met game? Yes. I don't. When are they minting? Is it today or yesterday? I will be playing the Met game. I just have to remind myself when it is. Let's see. Hilm is here. Thank you, man, for joining. Extreme Crypto from South Africa. Good to talk to you. 3 Doritos later. A very faithful AMA attender. I did the Luna play. I'm out now. Super DGen. Yes. And the biggest pain for me was UST. So you guys know I considered UST like pretty stable, right? And now it's 18 cents. I got out at about 50 cents maybe, but I lost about half of what I had in Anchor. But if you remember like my blueprint for retiring, I considered Anchor, these were like, you have your degen plays and a little safer is DeFi and a little safer is yield nodes and a little safer. I had Anchor as like my fourth safest, as my second safest money. And that's the one that fell apart. Whereas this one's been strong. So it's just crazy market. Let's see. Been thinking about yield nodes. I think they should still have a decent return this month because they've been around when Bitcoin was 30K last year. Thoughts? Yes, I was originally, so one of their big coins is Sapphire. And so if you look at Sapphire, it's actually not doing too bad. It actually went up about 30%. So, what worries me about yield nodes is all of their investment, all the money you give to yield nodes, they invest in these altcoins. And we just don't know what's going to happen to these. But for some reason, Sapphire, when everything else crashed and Bitcoin crashed, they went up 30%. So, and maybe it's from yield nodes. I mean, they've got a significant amount that they've invested in. Dash Diamond is another one. Let me see how they're doing. So yeah, they're down a little bit. I don't know. I would hope to see somewhat lower returns from yield nodes, just so I know it's not just a huge Ponzi scheme. They do lock your money for 6 months, which gives them time to make it through a bear market before they have to start paying people back. So, yeah. Marizo, James, you're the best. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Appreciate you guys and all your support. In light of UST events and general market dump, I'm surprised you're still investing and promoting the same type of projects. De-risk man, back to basics. Yeah, I don't know what you mean by same type of projects. I guess you're talking about like more of the DeFi. Again, kind of what I look at here, like I don't consider EMP. I mean, there's degen and then there's DeFi, but like EMP is tied to the price of Ethereum. So if I'm wanting to, invest in Ethereum long term, then to me it makes the most sense to do it through EMP. So I don't consider this an altcoin. I consider it tied to Ethereum. So yeah, it'll probably go down in the short term, but in the long term, I'll end up with more EMP, which will be pegged to the price of Ethereum. So I guess maybe ASAP, maybe you could be a little bit more clear about that. There are some projects that, I haven't really been promoting any projects for the last few days. I did a video on my journey to 10K and I did a video on the markets being down. I'm going to do a video on UST depegging. I have a video coming out on Finavant because they are doing some big things in the space. Yeah, Grape Finance, I really like. Elephant Money, even though they're having a hard time getting pegged back, really like that. So maybe ASAP, maybe you can be a little bit more specific what you mean. And when you talk about de-risk, where did my blueprint here? When I talk about blueprint, when I talk about de-risking, I kind of talk about going this way. But Anchor was my de-risking, and it turns out that it was pretty risky. So it is what it is. Pulse Chain's coming out soon. Any thoughts? Not really. I just know there's a lot of hype around it. There's actually a Pulse Chain conference coming out that I might be going to just to kind of learn a little bit more about them and speak with some of the founders and things like that. But no, not a lot of thoughts from them. A lot of good questions here. Greetings from Mexico City, getting ready to get into drip. Any recommendations or strategies for a newbie? I might dollar cost average in if I was going to get into drip now, just because it's hard. it's really hard to tell what the price is going to do. We've just seen such a steady decline for really like 3 months. And so like I don't know, it's a little hard for me to recommend getting into drip, but maybe dollar cost average in would be what I would recommend. I only hit the detonator high one time, and I put in 5K. So for those of you who don't know, on EMP, when you get into the detonator, the top deposit of the day gets this lottery prize, which right now is 30,000 bucks. It was lower when I did it, but I won the top deposit of the day with like 5,000 bucks, and so that's why I have like 22,000 in there, even though I only put 5,000 in there. So yeah, that's definitely a cool thing. The piggy bank rules. Yes. So piggy bank is back up and running. So this is going right now. It's a little bit confusing. It's a little hard for me to calculate. Let me get over to Binance here. Oh, I am on Binance. It's a little bit hard to calculate exactly. I need to go through some of the numbers to figure out how much these piglets are worth and how much these truffles are worth, et cetera, et cetera. But this is just since yesterday. So actually, am I making 400 bucks a day? I don't know. I might be making like 400 bucks a day from piggy bank right now. I'd put a whole lot into there. And again, don't worry, this is not my actual code. Trezor changes it each time. But so for piggy bank, you get these pigs BUSD liquidity pool tokens, and you can add them here. You have to buy pigs tokens and BUSD tokens, and then you can combine them here. And then you can just decide how long to lock it for, and you get a big bonus if you lock it for longer. Personally, I don't want to lock it for very long because, again, we just don't know what you can't withdraw, obviously, until it's unlocked. And so I just don't want to lock it for too long just because we don't know what's going to happen. Just let me compound these ones. The ones that are locked, I'm just going to compound, obviously, for a while. So I kind of staggered my locks. Like I did no lock, then 2-week lock, and a 4-week lock, and a 1-week lock, and then like a 6-week lock, I think I did. So like this one I could sell. I might actually sell that today. But this is piggy bank, and it's given about 3% returns right now on piggy token. So I'll paste, yeah, use my referral link if you want to for that one. Winery APR being so low is because it's paying back the bonds. Oh, yes. Good point. Good point. Actually, that reminds me, I have some bonds. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Tomb Forks, when you're under peg, which we were the other day, you can buy these bonds that when it goes under peg, you can buy these bonds and then redeem them back for when you're over peg. So like I even have some here that I can redeem, and it'll give me some grapes. So I made the spread from between where I bought it to where it's at now. So that's why the winery APR is low. So let me redeem that here. So that should give me some grapes. So thank you for pointing that out. That's a really good point. Then with those grapes, I'll probably just stick them in here. So I can show you again. You can zap in grape. So I have 34 grapes, and the zapper sometimes doesn't work the best, but it did there. So perfect. Sometimes these zappers don't always work. But so here I'm basically, this zap just turns my grapes into this Grape Min liquidity pool. Usually you have to go to Trader Joe and stuff and do all sorts of crazy stuff. That's pretty difficult. But with the zapper, you can just do that. And then you do still have to add it. So it made 14 Grape Min liquidity pool tokens. And then I'll just throw them in there. And that was from redeeming my bonds. So again, I would love to talk over how Tomb Forks work if anybody wants to know about that. A B wants to know, is drip still a good buy right now, even with the price still falling? I wish I could see clearly when it was going to be going back up. Like it's just been falling for so long where it's just hard to like really tell, like, is it going to keep doing this? I kind of expected that when Animal Farm released, there would be kind of a boost, but this is the This is the most steady down chart I've maybe ever seen. So if I was going to get into drip right now, like I said, I would dollar cost average. Do you think node projects are going to die soon? I think they're already dead, personally. There's not like Thor is barely worth. Let me just look at some of these here. I mean, Polar Nodes was like the last one standing, and it's down to 40. It's down from $3 to 47 cents in like a week. Power Nodes is basically worthless. Phoenix is down from 300, 400 bucks to 16. Comb, which is actually has some pretty strong revenue sources, is going down stronger. Like, is it? I don't even know that it's worth paying your maintenance fee at $18. Like, I don't think you're going to be in profit personally. Vapor Nodes is down below a penny, so it's not going to make any money. Thor, it's definitely not worth paying your maintenance fee on Thor for $5 Thor tokens. So I think node projects are dead. I mean, they're trying to get some revenue streams in, but I think it's too little, too late. Like, you have to come up with the revenue stream before you build. That's what I think. The winery usually sits at between 1.45 and 2% typically, yes. And for strategy, I don't mess. A lot of people like time. I don't have a ton in there just because I put it in a lot in wine nodes. But a lot of people try to time when we're overpeg and underpeg and then sell wine and buy wine. It's not passive enough for me. So I actually just leave my stuff in there. But again, this is kind of like the goals I'm aiming for is some grape node, some wine node, some in the winery. Grape seems to stick above peg better than other tune forks. So that's kind of frozen walrus finance. I am not familiar with that one. Frozen walrus finance. I don't know. I've not looked into that one. I'll have to take a look. New UST tune fork on AVAX. I don't know that would be a good move.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back.
It's a tune fork that's pegged to UST. That's not going to end well. If it pegs to USDC, then yeah, that's fine. Did they switch maybe? Maybe they were gonna peg to you. I'll have to look into it. I don't really know anything about this, but yeah, maybe they must have decided, they must have abandoned ship on UST and pegged to USDC. So I mean, that could be interesting. That's like basically like Grape Finance, but maybe like a little bit earlier. There's only 350K, so it's kind of fun getting in early on these tune forks, especially if they're still in Genesis. There's a lot of ways to make money. So for those of you who don't know, these Genesis pools, you can stake things. And so like we'll just say WAVAX. And you stake, and then you just get these tokens for free. And they're usually super high APRs. So these are, I mean, it's high risk, high reward, because what can happen is you earn this walrus, and then as soon as these Genesis pools are over, a lot of people just dump all their walrus, their WLRS tokens. So it could be profitable, it could not be profitable. This would be the time for someone to rug pull, is when they're in the Genesis pools. But I'll post a link to this just because. So this is how all tune forks start, is with these Genesis pools where you're staking for nothing. So you're putting in USDC and you get these WLRS tokens, and you can claim and withdraw, and then you get your USDC, and it's like huge APRs here at the beginning. So there's definitely these initial Genesis pools are a good way to make money, but they're also the highest risk on these. Tune forks sound like a good play. No one should be depending on anything higher than 0.8%. Well, yeah, even 20% APY, like 0.2% on UST couldn't make it. Node projects will last or die depending on the teams behind them. Yeah, I basically agree with that. I think revenue streams are what we really need to be looking at now. Yeah, for sure. What is that Ascend project that you had on your spreadsheet? I think you're talking about Ascend nodes. Did it say 17%? That might have just been miscalculation. I'm sure it was. Maybe. I don't know. I'll have to look into it. I do have quite a bit of this Ascend node. I'll have to relook at my numbers because I don't think it's actually getting 17% daily APR. The price of this token has not done well, so I actually haven't really been paying much attention to it because even though I was making a lot of tokens, um, they were worth so little that it wasn't really worth it to me. So yeah, this has been my journey with Ascend. That's Ascend is a very ironic name for that project because there's not Ascend. The allergy says, "Hi James." So hi, welcome. Have you ever withdrawn from COTPS? The answer is no. I have not. And actually, I want to test that today. The problem is I actually have this script running that automatically reinvests, and I need to remind myself of the username and password. So I need to stop it from auto in compounding for me so that I can have enough to try to withdraw. I've heard people say they have problems withdrawing, so um, I don't know. Can you also share your blueprint for us to edit? So the blueprint, I could probably share that one. The blueprint. Yeah, I can share that blueprint for financial freedom one for sure. Double check this here. Anyone on the internet can with the link can comment. So yeah, you guys can have that one. Some of my spreadsheets have like really bad calculations, and so like they're not meant to be like copy spreadsheets. Let's see. Where? Okay, here I am. Surprised you didn't get into Apex Node. Yeah, me too. Honestly, I'm in so many projects that I just was a little burned out. So I just like I've not been getting into a ton of new projects. The last ones I kind of got into Million Dollar Baby, which I'm having a AMA with them. Degen Finance is a Tomb fork that I'm going to have an AMA with. Refinery Pipeline, HNW, is a drip. So I'm kind of interested in these drip forks that are just starting out because, the biggest problem with drip is that maybe we're in late, you might say. And so I'm really been interested in these drip forks where you're in early. This one, the price has gone down a little bit, but yeah, I'm kind of interested in these. So that's another thing. Photo, hi from Washington. It's good to see you. Sending a few AMAs your way. Yeah, please do. I do have a lot of AMAs scheduled. I try not to do more than one a day. You have no idea how many projects reach out wanting AMAs. And so I try to look through them. And then a lot of times, like the best due diligence is to do an AMA. So if it looks interesting, then I usually, yes, will schedule an AMA, but we're scheduled out pretty far right now. Why do the KuCoin hold? I'm not doing a hold. I'm doing a DCA, a dollar cost average. So it basically every day it just buys more of this, and you can see all my bots here are down, but it's just every day it's buying more Bitcoin, and I don't even want to know what the price is. It's just if there's USDT in my account, it buys more. Any thought about red light finance? Yeah, it's just they're an example of we had these node projects that had no thought of extra revenue. And then when they got into trouble, then they went for extra revenue. But it just like creating your own chain takes a long time to build. And yeah, we're just too late. The rewards pool ran out. So I mean, they could mint more tokens probably, but it's a problem. Thoughts on EMP? Yes. So they're still one of my top projects. They are a bit under peg, so I really want to educate the community on don't sell EMP, especially when we're below peg. So in my farms, you can sell this e-share when below peg. I'm getting e-share from these couple places. The boardroom is not printing since we're under peg, and e-shares, the price goes way down. The detonator, so if I get 200 or so bucks from the detonator a day, but I don't want to sell this EMP. So I can either put it back into the farm or I could buy some bonds, which is what I've been doing. I own 1,000 bonds, 1,000 e-bonds right now, and maybe I'll buy more. But we really need to get back over peg. So if you're in EMP and you sell EMP, uh, please don't do that. Like, let's get above peg. Buy some bonds or put them back in the farms, but uh, do not sell EMP. So please talk about tomb forks. Okay, real quickly, and if you have questions about this, I love tomb forks. It's basically the way that the US dollar is supposed to work, but you have a token and it's pegged to something. So like the US dollar used to be pegged to gold, right? And that's how the economy is supposed to work. So in EMP's case, they're pegged 4,000 to 1 to Ethereum. Okay. And how it works is if EMP gets below peg, so below 1, we call it TWAP, which is the time weighted uh, accumulative price or something like that. If it gets below 1, then well, we'll say if it gets over 1, then these E-shares start printing in the boardroom. And they print at super high, crazy APRs, which usually it's going to be even higher than this, like 1,000% APR. It's going to print more EMP. So again, that's how a normal economy is supposed to work. If the dollar gets over the price of gold, then you're supposed to print dollars to bring the price down. Okay, so that's how this is supposed to work, is when EMP is over the price of Ethereum, then the boardroom is supposed to print more EMP. And that what that does is it brings the price of EMP down. And then if EMP gets below the price of Ethereum, the boardroom stops and you're supposed to buy these bonds that essentially burn EMP, and that makes the price of EMP go up. Okay, so if we're over peg, it prints more EMP and the price goes down. If it's under peg, you buy these bonds and the price goes up. And that's how the economy regulates itself. But you have to work together as a community, because what can happen is when you get under peg, like, I'm making 200 bucks a day in this EMP Ethereum liquidity pool tokens, but I could be tempted, oh, I'm going to sell my EMP instead of, but it's really not in your best interest to sell EMP. We want to get that over peg because that's when you'll really make the money. Like these E shares were worth, I think, almost $13,000 or $14,000 when we were over peg. So we really, I mean, this is pretty close. Sometimes tomb forks can get way under peg. There's one that I'm in, and this is a newer one, but it's gold mint. And see, they're not even close to peg, right? So PAX G is it's actually kind of talk about this another time. I have a lot of things going on in my mind, but PAX G is a cryptocurrency that is tied to the price of gold. So this is a tomb fork that is supposed to be pegged to gold, but you see they are way under peg, right? 0.15. They're not even close. But when the TVL is low like this, it's pretty easy that peg price can if somebody put in $100,000 of GLDM, that might be enough to get it over peg. Whereas when you get to something like Tomb, the original, their TVL is going to be, I mean, I don't know what it is after the crash, but so they're way under peg, and we'll have to see what is it going to show me without connecting my wallet? My guess is probably like 300 million. Oh no, what am I doing? And sometimes when everything crashes, a lot of times it really messes up the pegs. Maybe you have to connect. I just want to see TVL. Oh, okay, so yeah. Oh, wow, yeah. So that's way down. That used to be up in the hundreds of millions. But you can see it's way under peg. So like this masonry, they call it, is boardroom in EMP and other places. This is, I mean, this will probably never print again, honestly. So, and this peg's not looking good. But EMP peg is looking pretty close, and Grape Finance is they went under peg when everything crashed, but they're already, I was on the test net, that was one problem. But they are already back above peg. So, that's a healthy community, and that's the community working together to do that. So, are you going to send me your wallet address? Okay, I've sent everyone an airdrop. I've airdropped over like $150,000, and everybody says they haven't received any drops. But and what do you mean from the team wallet? Pretty much everyone on my team has gotten some kind of airdrop from me. So send me your wallet address and I'll look up your address and I'm sure you've gotten something. Drip won't pump until the animal farm is fully functioning and he focuses on drip. Yeah, that might be true. So it might be, DCA until that point might be the play. I'm not sure. I've been mostly hydrating. I kind of do a 50-50. I hydrate, the next day I claim out. I'm thinking also about putting more into Horde. So I don't know. Good idea. What do you think? They've seemed to hold up pretty well through this. Emerald is my worst investment ever. I'll have to say it's one of my worst investments also. I put quite a bit into Emerald. I have like 60 nodes, and I'm definitely not going to recoup my investment on that one. Have you done a video on DAG before? No, I have a AMA with the team from Constellation. Coming up. I think it's maybe Wednesday of next week. So that I'm excited about that. So Constellation is a chain and it's very cool. There's no gas fees, and they have a contract with the Department of Defense. So they're working with the government, and so DAG I think is a good play. Grape nodes, yes, I love Grape Finance. A Grape member is part of a new protocol that's launching today, Frozen Walrus. Okay, peg to USDC. All right, cool. Yeah, so that was the Frozen Walrus was the Fork launching today. So there's benefit to getting in early. There's also benefit to waiting. Again, you get in these Genesis pools, so you can make a lot of money, but you could also lose a lot of money. So like 804% on your Grape, that's pretty good. What do you think of EMP money nodes that they are half price right now? Getting too many windows here. By half price, do you mean that the price of EMP is down, or is there some like special deal? I mean, the nodes, really these nodes and the detonator are the same thing. It's you deposit a lot now in order to get out a little bit to a higher percentage, right? So it's kind of like it's locked staking is really what it is. So I don't really know that. To me, the detonator is maybe a little bit better than the nodes, possibly, depending on how much you're putting in. But I think the nodes are fine too. The nodes are easier to understand. Like we're used to that. So I do like those too, but I don't have any nodes. I'd rather just put in the detonator. Vapor nodes will have a DEX by the end of the month and a subchain with projects coming later. Yes, I am excited for a lot of what Vapor nodes is doing. It's just, yeah, I mean, there's so many Vapor tokens out there now, and a lot of people aren't selling because the price is low. So it just worries me that if the price gets even a little boost from the DEX or from the subchain, there's just so much sell pressure on these node projects. One thing I've learned, and Horde is a project that's done a good job of this, is don't give lifetime rewards. Like Drip knew this from the beginning. You get 365% and then you're done. And I wish these node projects had done that too, because for now, like everybody who has bought strong is talking about decaying rewards. But like Thor nodes, you just get them forever. And so the selling pressure is it's exponential in the wrong way. So we don't want to do that. What do you think of Sphere Financial? So I had a AMA with Simsala from Sphere, and I do really like them. I like that they have revenue sources in place, but it's just, again, I don't like the auto compound projects. Like there's just too much sell pressure, especially when the markets are down. I just want to check their chart real quick, but especially when the market is down, I don't know. They're just not my favorite because there's too much for people to be able to sell. So, I mean, that could be one to dollar cost average into. I do like they have some revenue streams coming, so I like that. Are you worried that AVAX may suffer the same fate as Luna? No, because if you don't know, so Luna has UST, right, which is a stable coin, and the way that this stable coin, this is actually the foundation of the Luna ecosystem. And correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, I'm going to do a video where I really do a deep dive into all this. But so the way that this price, so this is not, most stable coins are backed by collateral. At least they say that they are. So like Tether and BUSD, for example, are supposedly backed by US dollars. Now there's debate whether or not Tether is actually backed, whether they actually have, what's their market cap? $76 billion in reserves. I'd say probably not. But that's the theory behind it, is that it's backed by dollars. So UST is not like that. It's an algorithmic stable coin that is backed by the price of Luna, really. So if UST gets over $1, then they're supposed to burn Luna, which makes the price of Luna go up and makes UST go down. Okay. And then as UST gets lower, they're supposed to print more Luna, which raises the price of UST. So that's really how it's, and decreases the price of Luna. So what happened was, when there was an attack on UST and the peg got very low, the price of Luna just kept going lower, lower, and lower. And eventually the price of Luna got to a point where it couldn't support the peg anymore. And they were supposed to have, Luna has a bunch of Bitcoin in reserve that they're supposed to sell to try and protect the price of UST. Because really, if UST falls apart, the whole Luna ecosystem falls apart. But AVAX doesn't have, they don't have something like that. So no, I don't think there's a risk of the same fate. Have we talked about Horde yet? Yeah, I mentioned them, just that they're, again, I'll just show their chart, but they're holding up very well as the market's down. Again, this is new. It's a newer project, so we just don't know. I mean, it's never gone lower than like 90. I think it got down to like 95 or something like that. But it's never gotten below that. What's the latest on all the DEX hacks? Apparently, I haven't really looked into this too much, but GoDaddy had some kind of vulnerability. So a lot of the DEXs had, I don't know, something with your MetaMask Connect. So, I mean, just be careful when you're connecting and things like that. You know, never give your seed phrase anywhere. Be careful when you are saying approve and things like that. Like if it says, do you approve to send 10,000 USDC to this address? Then say no. So just read, don't just keep clicking approve. I still think Forex Shark has the best ecosystem and the most integrity. I do really like it. So I had quite a bit in that. I put like probably $15,000 into Animal Farm and have really seen hardly any return from that. So I'm a little like bitter. And then of course, you know, I have like 10,000 drip tokens. So again, with the price down at 17 bucks, you know, that's, you know, I'm making maybe like 1,700 bucks a day or so from that. But if the price could just go up, I would be much more comfortable. Have you explored shared master noding? You might have to explain what you mean more about that. So I'm in yield nodes, which does master noding. I used to master node like Dash Diamond by itself, but it just was too much work. They kept changing things, and it was just too much work. So I kind of gave up on that. I'd rather just get into yield nodes where they take care of it. Let's see. I'm falling way behind on your questions. So COTPS SMS is down this weekend. Supposed to have a new SMS provider over the next few days. Okay, so yeah, there's been, again, COTPS is a very degen play. I put in 2,000 bucks like 5 days ago, and I made 1,000 bucks this week, basically. So, I mean, there's that. But yeah, people are saying they're having trouble withdrawing. Their SMS is down right now. So I'll give you a link, but this is extremely degen, okay? If this fails, you cannot say, James, you promoted a failing project. I'm not promoting COTPS in any way. Let's see. Okay. And so Frozen Walrus is a Grape team member that's working on them. So that's cool. Do I trust Bank Teller? I trust that he is honest and he's one of the smartest people I know. The peg is having trouble. You know, one thing, and BT, if you're watching this, I mean no disrespect, but I've had a lot of really smart people with a lot of confidence tell me a lot of things that didn't end up happening. So Duquan is a perfect example. He was a really smart guy, billionaire, very confident that UST could not lose peg, even if people attacked it. And usually, like when I hear really smart people with confidence in the past, I've like believed that. I've been like, okay, they're smarter than I am. They have more money than I do, and they're confident. I should just, back their confidence. But we saw with UST, his confident, Proverbs says pride cometh before the fall. Not that I'm saying BT's prideful, but just I trust him and I trust his intelligence. But I am a little just want to be careful that, peg is not, it's going down. So um, I don't know. I hope this is able to keep peg. I have, 15,000 trunk in there. So it reaching peg would be in my best interest for sure. I love DAG. So I don't think it's a short-term play, but I see DAG as like, that's going to be my, in 5 years, that might be my 100x. What do you think about the future of Piston Token? So I do like Piston Token. I like the team. We had an AMA this week, and I had just a really, really fun time with them. Here's Piston Token. I always have to throw my referral links out there, The price has been hurting a little bit, as is the rest of the market. So, but I do like Piston Token. I like the team a lot. I hope they get going fast on, no pun intended, on their, what do you call it? Revenue streams, like their racing game and things like that. I'm having trouble accessing EMP from my phone while connected to a hardware. You might have to check in their Discord. Sometimes on my phone I have trouble with EMP, but usually it works. Do you have any info on setting up the auto compounding scripts? Yes, and I could talk about that here now if you want. Well, who would like me to talk about COTPS auto compounding script? Who's interested in that? Well, I'll ask that, and then I actually have to catch up on some questions. But let me know right now if you're interested in COTPS. Spring GameFi, yeah, I have an AMA coming up with them. I believe Elephant Money will come back. I hope it will. I hope they're able to reach peg. Again, when the whole market's down, some of these things are hard to see. I'd rather just wait for the dust to settle a little bit. A little late to drip. Possibly. There are big whales draining drip. That's why the chart looks ugly. I think you're probably right. And it's just hard. I thought the whales would be done draining by now, but yeah, and maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm considered one of those whales. I do a half claim, half compound strategy. So, I mean, I do drain it on, I'm claiming 10,000 drip, every other day and cashing it out. So, I mean, but I don't know if the price is going to keep going down. I don't want to just keep compounding forever. So, is the passive income capital play money? Do you mean on my journey to 10,000? So I started with probably 150K in DeFi. So I have a lot in real estate, and I have a lot in the stock market, and I have a lot in businesses. So I ran a software as a service business and sold that for a few $1,000,000. And so I had and so I put 150K into DeFi, and that's kind of what I've been running with, is that 150K. So that's up to about probably 750K. But it's down from, it was up to probably about 900K. So, will Luna survive? I think they will probably survive. I mean, there's too much really there to just completely die off, but I don't know. I'm kind of done with Luna. Duquan, I don't think handled this all the greatest either, and he talks so confidently. It can never lose peg. And then just when you see someone, I don't mind people being wrong, but when you're like so confident and you're wrong, then that gives us some alarm bells for me. KuCoin hold. They give you more coins if you hold less than 6. You might have to explain. Sorry, I'm not totally sure what you mean. If you hold less than 6, what? And this might be, you might have commented something earlier that I just forgot about, but if you want to explain that more. So one of the devs from Frozen Walrus is from Grape. Peg to USDC. Yeah, they switched. Good move. Pegging to UST would not be good right now. I know you had an AMA with Stack OS node. What is your final thought on it? I really liked it. I think it's a little confusing getting your node running. But I mean, it's getting a Flux node running is no no easier for sure. So I mean, it's an actual revenue stream. So maybe DCA in. When in doubt, DCA in. You know, don't just buy a big bag today, but DCA in. I think it'd be great if you had someone who is well versed in blockchain to partner with you on AMAs. You could really drill into how the projects work from a technical aspect. Yeah, and sometimes that is helpful, but I don't know. I've just found like a lot of times digging into the tokenomics and the blockchain and what's going on there. Like Luna had, from everyone who dug in, not everyone, most people who dug in had very solid tokenomics. You know, had a really solid. I mean, I don't know many people who didn't believe in Luna and then it still failed. So honestly, what I'm looking for in AMAs is more the team, is what I'm interested in. Huge fan of greetings from Estonia. Awesome. Welcome from Estonia. Huge fan of Sphere and MDB. Have you seen Golden Society nodes? Yes, I do like Golden Society nodes. Again, it's the team that I like, and they have some big things coming. I think I actually have another AMA coming up with them about some new things coming. How many Hydro whales do you have? I think I can't remember. 3? Did you get into Sphere? Now is a good entry. So I love Simsala. I love Sphere. I do not believe that I am in yet. I have so many wallets where sometimes it's hard for me to find things. I think I'm going to wait still. I'm going to DCA into Sphere at some point. But again, just the markets are so volatile right now. Have you checked into Dystopia? No, I have not. In fact, I don't even know that I've heard of that one. So I'll have to look into that. Not sure about that. Do you think Golden Society will be profitable in the future? I do have some invested in Golden Society. I like them. It's really hard to say if anything's going to be very profitable in the short term. So what I'm more looking for are things that I believe in long term. That's more what I'm. Oh yes, that's where I heard of Dystopia and Penrose. This is not. I don't think this is the right. Is this the right place even? I don't think it might not be. I'll have to remind myself what all's going on with Dystopia and Penrose. I can't remember everything. I remember talking about it with Simsala in our AMA, but I haven't thought about it since then. So, can you build an NFT to allow us into NFT miners with Andy? Yeah, I mean, they're not very profitable right now. Kadena is in the garbage can right now, 218. So, I mean, I'm making, my KD5s are making probably 12 tokens a day. So, you know, they're making 26 bucks a day. I do have my KD6, which is maybe making 18 a day. So, you know, that's making, but I mean, they cost me like 50,000 bucks. So, I mean, it's ROI is going to be a long time. You might be better off just buying KD8 at this price, honestly. That might not always be true, but for now, that's probably true. On Grape Finance, are you in Grape MIM liquidity pool? Yes. So that's kind of the main one. I do like the Grape nodes, but again, your initial is lost when you go there. So what I really like is the beefy, this auto compounder for the Grape MIM liquidity pool. So it's almost like a savings account in a way. Just a high risk one with a 747% APY, because these are supposed to be pegged to each other. So I really like that. Let's see. Auto compound. So we got 2 votes for the auto compound script for COTPS. So yeah, let me know. I did hear, well, Ripe Financial. I've not heard of that one. I'll have to look on that. Spirit Swap has been hacked. Yes, I don't know that it was hacked. I think there was a vulnerability with GoDaddy that messed up all the connect to your wallets. That's my understanding. I haven't looked into it yet. But yeah, just be careful what you're doing. What's your code for Elephant? So it's just this is my Elephant wallet address. This one right here. I'll post it in the chat. Am I crazy for being massively degen? You know, probably right now, maybe. Although from another point of view, this is the best time to be degen because like everything was down. See, bears have to make a profit too. So in the same way, when you go long on a position, if you're bullish, and that's the normal way to play the market, right? Is, hey, I think it's going to go up. I buy and it's going to go up. But a lot of people short, which means they basically borrow tokens to sell now, and then they have to pay it off at a later date. So if the price goes down, then they make money. But when they go to take their profit, it actually raises the price. So it's the opposite. So when bears go a while, they have to make profit the same way longs have to make a profit. And so you should expect as the market crashes that it'll come back up a little bit, which is what we saw yesterday a little bit. Is the markets crashed hard and then they came back up as the bears take profit. So I mean, there's definitely, as a degen, I mean, you can see there's definitely ways to make money here. It's just kind of difficult. It's difficult to time the bottoms and then to sell when you time the tops. But there's definitely money to be made as a degen. I've thought about getting into shorting if we're in a bear market. I mean, the only way to make money is to short. So, what's the best way to keep your MetaMask wallet safe? You need to get a Trezor. Grab a Trezor. Then you create your wallet on your Trezor, and then you just go here, and then you go to connect hardware wallet, and then it basically takes your Trezor and connects it to MetaMask. But if you make any transactions, you have to click some buttons on your Trezor, so it just protects you a little bit. Thor Financial P2E game. Yeah, the demo's coming out here in a couple days, and I actually have early access. I'm going to demo it. I'll probably do a live where I go through Thor's new game. It actually looks really cool. So it's cooler than I imagined it would look. My worry is that it's only going to be Thor node holders who play it, because it's just really hard to get game adoption quickly. It's hard to come out with the game quickly, and then it's hard to get adoption quickly, and then it's hard to get a lot of adoption quickly. So I just don't know. They have projections of the Thor token price going up to $200 once the game has some traction. But I don't know. I haven't done the math on that myself. Thoughts on the upcoming project Wand? Yes, I do like that. I'll have another. I did a live AMA with the founder of Wand. It's not coming out still for another month or two. So yes, I forgot to mention, please do hit the like button. So again, this was going to be a AMA with Opulence, and they weren't able to make it. So we'll reschedule that. JD, if you're watching, I'm sorry that didn't work out today, but we'll get something figured out. COTPS is just for some reason it's really popular right now. It's just a degen. They claim that they're doing arbitrage trades. I'm a little uncertain. I mean, I've been trying to think through why they need our capital to do it. I guess at a certain point you run out of your own capital, so you can use other people's capital. Then if you take half of it and I take half of it, but like it's making like over 3% a day. That's a lot of arbitrage. So I mean, I wonder how much of it is Ponzi. People are having trouble withdrawing right now because the SMS is down. But that's what it is. And I have an auto script running on this Microsoft remote desktop, which I forgot my username and password for. So if you guys want me to look into that, I have to go figure that out, which I'm willing to do. But I have a auto script that basically comes in here every 2 hours and just clicks this button. Because as soon as your wallet balance gets below above 5, you can click this and it'll do an arbitrage trade. And so you want your money to always be doing that. And then you have to wait 2 hours. That's another question I've had, is why do you have to wait 2 hours? Like, that doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. Like, I mean, if there's arbitrage available, why couldn't you just keep doing it? So I imagine it's just a big Ponzi scheme, honestly. That's my honest opinion. But I mean, there's ways. If I can withdraw this, like I've made $1,000 this week. So if I can withdraw it, then, I'm okay. I'm okay with Ponzi schemes if I can make some money in them, but I wouldn't recommend it as a long-term thing. So so you're saying that if I hold if I hold fewer than 6 coins, they give you the fees from trading back in form of KCS. Is that what you're saying, Father Earth? I've not heard that. You're an advisor for Comb. Are you invested? Yes. I have um, probably like 8 of the hives. I'm not really happy about it right now because they're not making very much money, and I put a lot of money into it. But I probably have 8 hives and then like 3 pods maybe. So yes, I am invested in Comb, and they do have a revenue stream. Their biggest problem is they're all on Phantom, and so they really are relying on Phantom to do well. And Phantom has just been since January. Phantom, um, I don't know. Phantom since January has just been garbage. I mean, really, since their founder left, and that obviously is going to cause a lot of problems, Andre. But that's hurt Comb a lot, and everything on Phantom. That's hurt Tomb for sure. I don't know if this is too personal of a question, but I heard a lot of banks are not crypto friendly in the U.S. Are there any banks that you would recommend? I use just a local bank here, and I've not really had any problems. Um, no problems there. Ally Bank is another one that I've used. That's it's an online only bank. Come play poker with us. Oh, there is a poker tournament today, aren't there? So I might not actually I might not be able to do the poker tournament today. I'm actually preaching tonight at a church. I'm going to preach on First Peter chapter 1 about our hope. It's actually very fitting. I'm preaching about how our hope is not in this world, but we have a living hope, an inheritance that is imperishable, undefiled, and unfading, reserved in heaven for you, which is actually really encouraging as you see some of your earthly riches dwindle away. It's kind of nice to know that I have an inheritance in heaven that's waiting for me. I think you mean, so my hydrate and then claim strategy is a bit of a slap in the face for us minnows still growing. I mean, I don't know what you, I mean, do you want me to just not take any money out? I guess I don't know what the alternative is. I mean, yeah, I can't just not take money out. I can't just, I don't know. I'm being very transparent about it. But I mean, that's just I want to make sure I get some money from that. I have expenses and things that I have to pay for and buy and things like that. So, do you have plans to create your own NFT? I do, but I just have not had a lot of time. So I've kind of put those on the back burner right now. For strong nodes, not very happy about strong nodes. They just have taken so long to get this revenue stream going, where it's like it's barely, and they're being on Ethereum, like it's just barely worth it to. Let's see, stronger. It's like, what was this new token? Like, what was the point of this stronger token? Like, why do all this? Down 20% today. They just put themselves in a hole with so much sell pressure. I don't know how they'll ever get out of it. What other projects are like Horde where the price isn't supposed to fluctuate? Well, I mean, all the stable coins, I would say Elephant.money is supposed to be like that. They've had trouble keeping peg. All the tomb forks are really supposed to be like that. Like EMP is supposed to keep up with the price of Ethereum. Now Ethereum's been going down, so even if you stay above peg, you're still losing money there. But Grape is supposed to be pegged to MIM, which is a stable coin. So Grape would probably be the closest thing to Horde, I would say. Yes, if you believe in Ethereum, I think EMP is a good long-term investment. You just can't be scared away by short-term volatility. If you believe in Ethereum, if Ethereum goes up, I think EMP will do great. Honestly, I'm not doing anything with Strong. I'm just letting my rewards accumulate. I'm paying my maintenance fee with begrudgingly when it's time to. I'm not compounding. I'm not selling. It's not really worth it. It's not even worth it to claim, really. I have so many nodes where, if it costs me $300 to claim. It's just not worth it. Do I think it's late to get into Horde now? I don't know. I've been waiting to see how they hold up long term, so I just don't know. I'm probably going to DCA in and get a few more plots on Horde if that helps you, but that's what I'm doing. I am buying DAG. I'm DCAing in like $1,000 a day into DAG. So I want to get, you need 250,000 DAG for a node, which is going to be like $35,000. And so I want to DCA into that. Is Anchor worth getting into? No, it's not. Stay out of Anchor. How does rocket fuel work? So rocket fuel, so Artemis is, let me just talk about Artemis a little bit first. So they are a auto compounding project, but they give rewards in BUSD also. So that's kind of interesting. I did an AMA with their team. And then they've also added rocket fuel, which is, those miners are really popular. They've added in a miner to support the ecosystem, and it's been working pretty well for me. I do have a referral link for that as well, but you kind of need to do more refueling than you do claiming in order for this to keep going. But it's still pretty early in that. Any update on Spear? Actually, no, they had a little bit of trouble in their they had a little bit of trouble with their launch, and I've talked to the team a little bit, but I have not. I'll probably buy. So they're a elephant money fork, and so I'll probably buy this Gladiator stablecoin at some point. I've not really had the heart to buy anything, and honestly, I'll just be totally honest. I've had a lot of expenses, personal expenses with just some different things that have come up medical wise. Not with me, but like with some people close to me and things like that. So I've just had a lot of expenses, so I haven't had as much money, and I haven't really wanted to get into a lot recently, just because everything is going down. Hey Josh, welcome from the Vapor Nodes Discord. I love Vapor Nodes. I love the team. I have a ton of Vapor Node, like almost 1 million, I think. It's just not worth very much right now. Are there any projects in Chronos that you like? So Chronos Sale, I kind of like them. I did a AMA with this team, and so they're a launch pad on Chronos. So I kind of like them because they had a revenue stream. Crow, let me check the chart for Crow. I believe that crypto.com will probably in the long run do well. But I've thought that for a long time. So, and they haven't. I think I bought like here, and then I was like, I didn't sell there. So I'm still holding on to quite a bit, and it's bleh. They've put a ton of money into marketing, so they need to, I don't know, they need to get a return for their build up treasures in heaven where you keep them forever. Yes, Jesus says, Matthew 6, do not store up treasures here on earth where moth and rust destroy, where thieves break in and steal, where inflation takes away. I added that, not Jesus didn't say that. Where, things crash, where stable coins get depegged, but store up treasure in heaven where moth and rust do not destroy, where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. So wherever your biggest treasure is, so if your biggest treasure is your money, then that's where your emotions and your affection is going to lie. And when the market goes down, we've had some people committing suicide over UST and losing all their money. And I'm sad. I'm very sad about what happened at UST. I probably lost $30,000. I'll say that in the UST debacle. But my hope's in heaven. I know the Lord gave me the money, and the Lord gives, the Lord takes away, and He's got plans. So that's where I'm at. I'd come watch you preach. Will not agree, but that is okay. Thanks, Gregory. I appreciate it. Yeah, and I try to be open that, hey, this is just what I believe. I believe the Bible is the Word of God. I believe we're sinners. I believe Jesus died on the cross for our sins. I believe I have a future in heaven, and that's what I'm living for. I believe the greatest commandments, love the Lord your God, and the second greatest commandment is like it, love your neighbor as yourself. So that's what I live for. My email, I'll put it in the comments. Do feel free to email me, but I'm way behind on email. But yeah, I'd love to come talk to your channel. Did you buy Luna? No, I'm staying away from that. I'm staying away from Luna. I Duquan, I'm not a big fan of him. Man of Faith got my subscription. Awesome. Thank you, man. Appreciate you subscribing. I don't know who to trust. Not saying I trust you 100%, but my trust is strengthened with you. And I think you guys, you can trust me that I will be honest. But I'm going to be totally honest. I have made a lot of wrong calls in the markets. Like I think no one knows. Like the people I follow, um, I don't think they knew either. Like Luna falling apart. I don't know many people that expected that. And then people who expected that, some people just expect everything to fail. Like there's a YouTuber, I'm not going to even mention him. I don't want to give him any attention, but he just basically every video is saying this is going to fail, this is going to fail, this is going to fail, this is going to fail. And he never says anything that's going to do well. And most projects do fail eventually. So it's a lot easier to just come out and say, oh, everything's going to fail. Like that's easy. But it's like, well, come out and give people a way that they could potentially make some money. And that's when you can get attacked. So I think you can trust my honesty, but don't necessarily. I mean, there's a lot of projects that I put money in that I've lost money. Anchor being one of them. So great to hear you have a belief in the Bible. And yes, I do. I think people don't know very much, and so I like to go to God. He knows more. Any thoughts on Flux? Yes, I'm DCAing into Flux. I think like $500 a day or so. Probably just until I get one of their nodes. Got to remind myself how much their nodes are. I want one of these. And Andy, your friend Andy, got me into Flux nodes. But I'll probably go until I get, let's see, one of these 40,000 Flux. Then I'll probably run one of these nodes. And I think that's 30% annually. So it's not like awesome, but it's for a node. So it'll be there. So I'll probably do that. Have you invested in any metaverse land? I don't think so. I've thought about it a few times, but then I didn't. I don't understand it well enough to invest in it, I don't think. Yes, DAG is a token. So Constellation Network is a chain that I think is going to be big. They're working with the Department of Defense, so they're working with the government. So usually that goes well. But their token is DAG. Okay, so you can buy DAG. I get it on KuCoin. And when you get 250,000 DAG, which at the price of DAG, I think it's around like 13 cents right now. Is that right? Yeah. So it's like $33,000 to get a node. So you can DCA in. I don't expect you to throw down 30. I mean, if you had $32,000, maybe just throw it down. But I'm DCAing into DAG till I get my node. You said that you treat yield nodes as a savings account, but lately that you want to diversify yield nodes. Would you still recommend for someone not in yet to get into yield nodes? Yes. So I still do like yield nodes. The problem is I have like $130,000 there, and that's just too much for me to have in one place. Like we saw with Anchor, like if yield nodes falls apart, I lost $30,000 in Anchor. If I lost $130,000 in yield nodes, that would be very sad. So I'd like to find somewhere to diversify. So Freeway is one that everybody's been talking to me about. I think I'm going to do a video and do a kind of a deep dive into it. But Zion Financial was one that I was diversifying into, and then they rug pulled. Freeway they offer 43% annually, so it's going to be quite a bit lower than yield nodes. But I'm looking at that one. Calculator. Guy recommended Crypto for Winners, which is like 4% a month or something like that. And apparently it's regulated by Norway or some government. So yeah, you can get like 4% a month there. So, I might look at diversifying a little bit into some of those. Is Drip a Ponzi like the miners? It's not like the miners for sure. The miners are given 8% a day, and Drip is giving 1% a day, and there's also a lot of taxes to sustain it. But in the end, yes, it's a very long, drawn out Ponzi that definitely needs money coming in from the outside, and probably at some point we'll need a revenue stream. And Forex has talked about lending and insurance as revenue streams, and those are, I mean, in traditional finance, those are the biggest revenue streams is lending and insurance. So it's just a matter of what Drip has done well is they've been going for over a year. So I mean, it is a Ponzi, but with the right payout structure and the right tokenomics, you're able to spread this Ponzi out over a long period of time. So it gives you a long time to come up with a revenue stream. Whereas the miners with 8% a day, you have like 3 weeks to come up with a revenue stream, or you're dead. My biggest treasure are the people around me. I'd like to keep it that way. And, I respect that. The only thing I will say is that people will let you down also. Money lets you down and people let you down. And ultimately, not to be bleak, but people die is the ending. That's kind of what I'm preaching on tonight in First Peter. And so, like, when you're looking for hope, I want a living hope that's going to last for eternity. So that's why I put my hope in heaven. People are great. Like, I love my family and that, but they let you down. They treat you wrong, and they die. Like my grandma passed away. Some of my other family's not in great health. And if you put your hope in people, you will be let down for sure. Can you talk about hyperfund? Nope, can't. For some reason, it's in their policy not to put it on YouTube. But I've been getting 0.5% a day on hyperfund since July or August, so for a long time. Is opulence the next horde? I don't know. We'll have to find out at the AMA. They've had some troubles, and I kind of wanted to talk through some of that. But yep. Better to react to the market properly than guess what's coming. Amen to that. Yep. Predictions, I just have not seen people that are able to predict well. Coffeezilla. Coffeezilla is one. Coffeezilla is a well-known one who's very negative. There's a newer one who all he does is post like hate videos about other YouTubers and about projects. I've never seen him promote a project even once. So again, I'm not even going to say his name because I don't even want you to look him up. Yeah, that's true. And I've invested in Strong's Spartan Capital. Do you remember that one? That was an AMA I did a long time ago. Spartan Capital. They might not even have a website, honestly. They might just be on Twitter. But that's not good. I probably need to get in touch with. Well, I thought that was their Twitter. I'll have to look into that. But they were investing in some metaverse. That was there yesterday, I swear. I'm worried. Does anybody know anything about Strong Spartan NFT? They just go under, or what happened with them? I'll have to look into that. I don't know. I don't like seeing that, for sure. I'll have to look into that. Solana. Am I invested in anything on Solana? I don't think I am anymore. There was a couple things on Solana. I was looking at a few NFT collections. That's what Solana is kind of most known for, is their NFTs. But I don't think I'm invested in anything on Solana right now. What are your top crypto news sources to keep you up to date? Honestly, probably just Twitter. Usually, like, my Twitter feed keeps me up to date on most important things that are happening. So I'll put my my Twitter. There's a lot of fake James Peltons, but I'll put my Twitter here. But so this is where I kind of see what people like. Coffee on the Blockchain. He's always good to kind of know what's going on. So when I see my top tweets are all about Luna, then I know, okay, I need to look into Luna. And so sometimes what I'll do is I'll just go up here and say, hey, what are people saying about Luna? And then, so you'll see like this. So I know, okay, so some people are trying to time Luna and buy it, and then it goes up. I don't think that's a good idea. Altcoin Gordon, sometimes he's just joking on some of these things, but I mean, and don't get FOMO when you see things like I bought 150K of Luna and then it's worth 8.7 million now. Um, don't get FOMO because that could cause you to make a really bad play and say, "Oh, I'm going to go buy a bunch of Luna now." And to me, that's not the move. So, anyways, that's where I get a lot of my news from is just kind of going through here, like Luna, 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 Luna. Oh, look at this. There's a good video. Luna. So I can tell Luna is a big thing. DAG, a dormant wallet holding 1,000 DAG has been activated after 5 years. Wow, interesting. 1,000 DAG is not worth $1 million USD though, so that's kind of confusing because DAG is at 13 cents. So I don't know what he's saying. Yeah. Anyways, I digress. I'm getting distracted now. Any thoughts on move to earn games? Yeah, very interesting. I don't. They're an experiment, but I don't know how it's going to go. But a very interesting idea. So again, when you're looking at economies, you want there to be money's an economy, and when you look at traditional business like time, stress, comfort, entertainment, fitness is a currency. So that's what we've needed in a lot of these projects is we need other currencies in there. So fitness could be a currency getting, paid to work out. So it's an experiment that I'll probably be a part of in some way. I can't announce anything at this moment, but I'll be involved with it in some way. I've heard some good things about Kronos Node. I'm not in, but I've heard good things. What do you like to do for fun? That's a good question. So I like video games. I have a group of guys that I play like Call of Duty with. That's a lot of fun. I like board games. I really like to read. I like movies. Not really TV shows as much. I kind of get bored, but I like movies. Like usually, if they're like historical movies of some kind, like Gladiator, Patriot, Brave. If you can learn something while you're watching it, I like to learn. I'm actually going to start studying technical analysis TA, like looking at charts. I'm not totally convinced that that's super helpful in crypto, but I'm going to just learn about it before I knock it too much. So that's kind of what I do for fun, I would say. Do you have any position in BTC proxy? Yes, I do. I really like. I have some of my Bitcoin split between BTC proxy and Bomb.money. Bomb.money also has just straight up Bitcoin staking, where you can get 30% annual on your Bitcoin. Proxy gives a little bit more, but it's in their proxy token. LA, I don't put your hope on yourself. I do not think that is a good idea because you will let yourself down many times and eventually you're going to die. Again, not to be bleak, but I would not recommend. I'd put your hope on others before yourself, but ultimately you got to put your hope on something that is eternal, or else it ends. And one thing as I've been watching some of these historical movies, one thing I've noticed is like ancient kings are always trying to build statues. And the reason is, and rich people are always trying to leave inheritances for their kids. And the reason is because it's built in us as humans to want to last. And kings of old and people today get terrified that, hey, when I die, I need to last after I die, or else that's going to be terrible. So people build statues of themselves, or they try to leave money, or they look at their kids or their grandkids and say, look, I'm going to still be around. But the reality is, you got to put your hope in something that's eternal. And I believe that that's Jesus and what he did for me on the cross. And I believe he says, I'm in John 14, I'm going to prepare a place for you, and I'm going to come again and take you to be with me, that where I am, there you may be also. And so I'm looking forward to that day. That's what I wake up every day. And sometimes I get distracted. Like sometimes it's not like I wake up every morning and go, oh, I'm so excited for heaven someday. But some days I get distracted by finances. And the day the market collapsed, I was pretty stressed out all day. And I was just having to pray and really work with God, like, hey, Lord, please take my hope off of money and put it on eternity. Do I own any Ripple, XRP, and thoughts on it? I do have some Ripple that I've held for a very long time. Yes, I don't know. If this lawsuit with the SEC ever ends, I imagine it'll be high. Ripple's cool. Ripple could change the world for sure. So to me, it's worth having at least a little bit. If it 100x's, it's good to have a little bit. That's kind of my take on it. One of the problems is their market cap is so high already. I always like to this kind of, let's see, right way to Google this. I can't remember. Oh, I found it earlier. It's in one of these tabs, but there's a website where you can check what the price of something will be if it gets to the market cap of something else. Let me close some tabs. My RAM memory probably appreciates this also. Good grief. It's been a busy life here. We've gone through a lot. This is BioFi, which is really, really like that one. Here it is. Market cap of. So if you take Ripple, XRP, and let's say that they were able, they're not going to pass Bitcoin or Ethereum, but let's say they get to the market cap of BNB. That means they really own. That's really the potential that they have in my mind right now. Maybe they get to be as big as Ethereum does. That'd be a 12x. I don't know. Like they're not going to 100x. Like I just said, maybe they will. That just can't happen. Even if they pass Bitcoin, which this is never going to happen, I don't think. That would still only be a 28x. So you have to kind of look at the price of the token, how many tokens are in circulation, and what the market cap is. XRP already has a huge market cap. So, it's going to take some significant things for it to go up a lot. By trust is that I will trust your honesty. Yeah, thank you. I do appreciate that. I do try to be as genuine and as authentic as I can. One thing I'll say, I feel like there's misunderstanding. When I have someone on for an AMA, I'm not necessarily promoting that project. Like sometimes when I do an AMA, I'm not convinced on the project. Like I have not bought any, and I'm doing the AMA to kind of see. And I just want to bring you guys in on that process of here are the questions that I would ask, and here's and then sometimes I do an AMA with someone, and then they don't end up working out, and people say you promoted that project, and it's like, well, I did an AMA with them, and sometimes I don't. Sometimes I don't say whether I get into a project or not, and maybe I should be more open about that. It's kind of, I hate telling a team when I'm in the middle of an AMA live, yeah, I'm not going to invest in your project. I'm kind of a nice guy. So the meek will inherit the earth, a paradise earth. Why do you want to go to heaven? Well, actually, how the Bible presents it is there's going to be a new heaven and a new earth, and actually God is going to come down to earth. And really, paradise, heaven is God's dwelling place. So I believe in the future there will not be a difference between heaven and earth. I think there will be a new earth that God dwells in, that I will be hanging out with him. So hope that answers that. But in the meantime, I think if you die, you go to heaven. That's some theology. We can get into some theology if you want. I have over 200K in Anchor. I'm super sorry, man. Yeah, that's a huge bummer. You could wait. They have a rescue plan in place. So your two options are kind of wait for that. You could sell some and wait for that, but really sorry to hear that. I'd love to pick your brain, but this is about crypto. Did you want to pick my brain about something else? This would be a good time to do it. I'll probably not be on here a whole lot longer. I am preaching tonight, and I need to kind of work on that. How about Tavern? Will it survive? I love the Tavern team a lot. Like I'm very good friends with them. And we kind of stuck with each other through quite a bit. There was quite a bit of FUD around their project, and I kind of stuck with them. The markets are bad, and they don't really have a good revenue stream in place. So it's just there's not really anything to do but sell the tokens. So survive is probably a relative term, maybe. Hello from the VPND family. Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining. Again, if you're just joining me, the replay will be on my channel here. Hit the like button, though. Appreciate that. Any thoughts on Steppin, play to earn game on Solana? I have not heard of that one, so I'll have to take a look at that one. I've not been big into the play to earn games. Not a lot of them have been super successful. Pizza game seems to be the best right now. So for the mid-risk long-term projects, we have yield nodes, freeway, and crypto for winners. What else? What about USD Plus and MDB Plus? Honestly, if I'm not going to be getting a 15% return, then I would just assume take it out of crypto. And so DLP Capital is a housing fund where I get 12% return. You might have to be an accredited investor, so I'm sorry if that's the case. But I get 12% tax-free return a year in real estate. So if I'm not going to get a 12% return, then I would rather just take it out. We found Anchor was 20%, and I would have been better off taking that out and putting it in real estate. Real estate is more secure than crypto. I'll say that. There's investments that I have outside of crypto that if I want, an 8% return or something like that, I'd rather go there. So for now, I think the ones that I feel decent about yield nodes and freeway and crypto for winners. Those would be my three right now. Zion was one, but even it rug pulled. So again, it's just like, ugh. So I don't know. I'm putting some into to real estate at this time. How much did you lose in Lunar UST? I lost about 30K in UST. I sold at about 45. Do you invest in every project you do an AMA with? The AMAs that I show, I try, not always, but I try to have some investment, at least a little one in most. I'm trying to think. I would say many of them I have a large investment in, but not all of them. And maybe I should be more upfront about that. Honestly, it's a little bit hard when you have the team on to be like, I don't like your project. Maybe I'm too nice of a guy, and maybe that's something I need to work on. Have you heard of Ooze? Yes, so Ooze is interesting. We're working out if it would make sense to do an AMA on my channel. They're Christians also, so that's kind of actually one of the ways we connected. I just play to earn games. I've made a lot of money in them, but I found they've not been very helpful for my audience. You have to know how to make your money in them. So maybe I'll bring them on for an AMA. I kind of need to figure out what exactly makes them different from the other play to earn games. Yes, shoot me a DM and I'll talk about Hyperfund, which is the secret project. If I want to launch my own DeFi project or fund manager like Yield Nodes Manage Fund of others, which is the best resource to build platform? That's a good question. There's not really a good Third Web. It's more NFT related though. Maybe StackOS, what we talked about, who I had an AMA with yesterday, maybe just deploying an app on there. You're gonna have to know how to program and things like that. But yeah, that'd probably be the best. What's the risk with the single staking BTC in bomb money? So probably the biggest risk is basically what they're doing with this, if I understand correctly, and maybe, Aaron, if somebody's on that knows better, my understanding is that what they're doing with your staked BTC is they are selling it and using it in bomb.money. Okay, so I do not believe that it's staying as BTC. I believe that they're taking your BTC, so they're just making it really convenient for you, where they're taking your BTC, selling it, putting it in here, and then when you want it back, they'll turn it back in for it. So the biggest risk is that this completely falls apart, which this peg is not looking super great. And that's why, this was 115% for a while. This is going to just depend on how this peg is, because when the peg is down, then none of these farms are going to be making very much money, 0.17% a day. And the reason is because the boardroom is not printing in forever. So you can see it's the boardroom would be at 12,000% right now if it would ever get above peg, but it's been a long time since bomb's been above peg. So that's probably the biggest risk. Yes, I have 3 kids, 10-year-old, 8-year-old, and 6-year-old. And then we actually have 4 college students living with us right now. So we have a guy from Cameroon, 2 college girls, and a guy from Rwanda living with us. So we have a girl from Rwanda living with us. So we have a fairly busy house, I would say. Sometimes you hear the background noise, but yeah, that's crazy. Ripple's risk reward isn't worth it for the gains. Possibly. Could possibly be. I'd love to talk theology with you. That's one of my favorite things. I love theology. Please tell me you got into piggy bank. Yes, so I have quite a bit in the piggy bank. So no, that's been the part of Animal Farm that's been working pretty well for me. So I've been in it since it originally launched, and I'm still in it. Compound that one reminds me. Sometimes when I check my projects in these videos is when I am reminded. So again, don't worry, you're not getting my Trezor code because it changes every time. The pattern changes each time. So that's what a Trezor does, though. So I compounded that one. I'll probably sell these today, but I think I'm making like almost $300 or $400 on these truffles. So, and feel free to use my referral link. I always got to throw those out there. So XRP, once it gets settlement, will move all of the world's money, potentially $10 minimum. Yeah, that is potentially true. The only one problem is that XRP's been saying that for a long time, and I don't think. I mean, if you look at their market cap, it's 19 billion. So if it went to $10 minimum, that is a 24x, which means the market cap. That's too many zeros. The market cap would have to be more than all of crypto is right now. So I don't believe it can go up to $10 personally. Double down on Horde. I might be doing that. I'm definitely at least going to buy a few more plots. Zion rug pulled, yes. And it was the day after I did a video on them. They've been giving returns for 4 years. I'd been getting returns for 8 months. I'd been withdrawing. And one thought I had is that they don't have a ton of attention. So I thought maybe when I did my video, they got nervous, like it was too much attention. And so they pulled the plug. Literally, they've been around for 4 years, and they rug pulled the day after I did my video. And I was like, what is the timing on that? So my guess is my video had something to do with it. If this is a sign of the bottom in the market, where would you be looking for opportunities going forward? I don't know that this is the bottom of the market. I would not bet on that it's the bottom of the market. I'm dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin. So I'm investing in Bitcoin and Ethereum and DAG and Flux are kind of my 4 that I feel like pretty good about going forward. And probably BioFi, which is, again, Finavant, which I'm going to do. I have an AMA I'm going to release with them here pretty soon. But they're doing some biometric stuff. Like they have a phone that they're releasing that's a blockchain phone, and they've got some really cool things. I'm stoked about Ooze. I'll consider that. We've been working on an AMA. I kind of told them originally, I don't want to do any more play to earn games. They said ours is different. I'm like, everybody says theirs is different. So we're kind of working through that. I've never seen anyone not being a nice guy on YouTube apart from Tony Vase. Yeah, that could be true. You could say I'm still thinking about investing, or I haven't made my mind yet during interviews. I do say that sometimes. So like in the Sphere AMA, I said, I was up front and just said, hey, I've not invested in Sphere yet. I like Sphere. They have good revenue streams, but I don't trust the price. Do you do TA? I do not. I'm considering, I've always knocked TA because to me, it just seems like people look at charts after the fact. and then they go, they just draw random shapes. And they're like, yes, if you, and you can make charts kind of look how you want them to too, based on how you do this. And, and then I'll switch to the log chart. And then, yes, this looks like you see the upside down tea cup here. So this handle, and then usually what good TAers do is at the end they say, so it could go down, it could go up, or it could stay the same. It's what a lot of good TAers do. So I've not really believed much in TA in the past, but I'm going to actually, it's on my to-do list for this upcoming week, is to look into TA a little bit more. Because I'm realizing how little things happen that I never expected to happen. And so it's like, man, I've got a lot to learn. And so TA, before I knock on it and say, oh, it doesn't work, I want to learn more about it. Thoughts on AVAX? They're just going to go along with the market. I think they'll be fine long term. But yeah, probably just going to go around with the market. They're going to be hurting as there's a lot fewer projects coming out, which means there's going to be a lot less gas going on AVAX. So that's going to hurt them, but they'll be fine long term. Again, I don't know where the bottom's going to be, but the bottom will probably be a good buying point. So maybe you DCA in at that point. Where are you on your own crypto projects? I've not really made any progress. This would not be a good launching environment for a project either. I think I figured out your Trezor secret phase, seeing you do too many transactions online. No, because every time the password field comes up, it shows the numbers on your Trezor, and they're different each time. So when you see me do it, it's never the same. So you have to see this to know what it is. So you don't know what it is. It starts with a 1. I'll give you that. Where are you buying DAG? So I have a KuCoin bot that's DCAing in. Did I close that window? I closed that window. But I have a KuCoin bot that I'm DCAing in 250. Actually, for DAG, I'm doing like $1,000 a day until I get that 250,000 for a node. Ooze isn't play to earn game, by the way. It's just got a gamified style. Okay, so maybe I'll do the AMA. One thing is they didn't have enough on their website at the time to really know what it was. What do you think of Stable Fund? I don't know that I have heard of that one either. So I'll have to look. I'll have to look at that one. I'm not familiar with that one. VRA is a low market cap and real world solutions for POV. It's a project I think has real world solutions. I've not looked into VR. I've heard a lot of people talking about it, but I've not looked into it much myself. So yeah, definitely that's what I'm looking for, are real world solutions and low market cap. So revenue streams. I think I'm going to probably close down here. Thank you guys for joining me. There's a couple last questions here, and then I'll hop off for the day. I think Gala and Newcoin Gal have a lot of potential. Have you seen them? What are your thoughts on the latter? I do like Gala games. So I was for a long time involved with Townstar. Just kind of got tired of the chores of getting my returns. But I mean, they're a good game studio, game platform. So it probably wouldn't be a bad investment to invest in them long term. But just again, know that some of these are long term. When the markets are down, there's not a ton of like good short term plays. So you just have to be more comfortable with long term. The new Thor game, I've seen a demo of it, and I'm actually this week, I think I'll be able to play a demo of it. I really like it. I think it looks really good. I think they did a really good job with it. I don't know the best way to how do you get people outside the Thor community to play it? And is it going to be fun enough where people play it for fun and not for earning? And then will it be enough to, beat that sell pressure on Thor? I don't know the answer to those questions. My honest answer is I personally, this is not FUD. I don't think that they're going to be able. I don't think it's going to help, personally. Ooze isn't a play to, yeah, gamified style, yes. Would you ever consider partnering into a crypto or income project? I would. I've kind of been burnt by partners in the past. And part of it is just not doing full due diligence. I'm kind of too trusting. So like I had a few people who were just like, hey, do you want to partner on this project? And I said, oh, yeah, sure. And I was kind of an advisor. And then, they would do something shady, and then somehow it would come back on me that I did something shady, even though I was barely involved. Yes, I like those. What project was investing heavily in those? Oh, it was Golden Society. Um, Golden Society. They're investing in. Is it Pocket? I don't know how you pronounce it. Pocket. I think it's Pocket nodes. I've never actually heard someone say it. How about VPND? How's your thoughts on them? Yeah, I have a lot of Vapor. It's been said the price has been sad. We've been talking about this DEX and chain for a long time, so I hope that those are able to help. But they need to come out probably soon. The team is really good. I love the team. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Psalm 19:1. Yes, make of this what you will. Yeah. When you look at creation, we're going out to Zion National Park. But for me, when I look at creation, I definitely can tell there's something bigger than me. And from my perspective, things look like they were intelligently designed. So, yes, I really like the team at Vapor. I don't like the price. They've dug themselves in a huge hole by too much sell pressure, and as the price of strong went down, that only increased the number of nodes that were being created, and then they kept bragging about it. Like if you look on their Twitter, this blew my mind away. But like the price is going into oblivion, and then all their tweets are about we just passed 500,000 nodes. Like they have it pinned. I'm like, that's not good news. Like 550,000 nodes that are all taking rewards every day, and the price is going like this. This is not good news for good news. This is not good news for investors. Like my nodes were thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, and now they're like $180. And they kept tweeting about it, and it just blew my mind that they were tweeting and celebrating that. Green Pill knows what's up. Pop and lock dance at every node milestone while haters get more big mad. Maybe, I don't know. I can't tell if he's saying they shouldn't be doing that. Maybe I'm one of the haters. But yeah, I'm looking at the price and I'm like, I don't want there to be more nodes. That's more sell pressure. Like, need to get some revenue. Let's see. Did you make money on Terra when it was crashing? Nope. Nope, I was never really into Terra at all. I was just, or into Luna. I was just in UST, and no, I lost. I'm not like at the computer enough to like do a lot of day trading and watching the price. I am thinking about getting into shorting and messing around a little bit with that, just because I sometimes I have a pretty good feeling the price is going to go down, and so I'm thinking about getting into that. I am not buying any Luna. So, okay. Well, I think I'm going to hop off now. It's been almost 2 hours. Time flies when you're having fun. But hey, this was a lot of fun for me. I love doing this and just answering some questions, talking through some things. If you guys do have other questions, feel free to ask. And I'll probably do another live like this and just ask some questions. So appreciate you guys showing up. Appreciate you guys. Do hit a like button, even as we're leaving here. This video will be uploaded, so please hit a like, and that'll be helpful for just getting more people to see it. If you're not subscribed, feel free to subscribe. Feel free to hit the alarm bell when new videos are coming out. But yeah, I appreciate all you guys. Appreciate your conversation. Appreciate your positivity and all sorts of things. Yeah, if you were late, don't worry about it. You can the replay will be it'll be up on my channel immediately, but it'll be under my uploaded videos tomorrow. It takes like 24 hours for that. So, but yeah, I hope everybody's hanging in there. Remember, I think I've read about 7 people committing suicide over this Luna stuff. So just remember that there is more to life. There's more to life than money. Okay, your security, your happiness is not found in money. So don't. Nobody, talk to somebody. Okay, you shoot me a message and I'll try to reply to you. But just don't let it get you down. I was very sad when Terra Luna fell apart, UST fell apart. But yeah, my hope's in heaven, and yeah, there's more to life than that. So thank you guys so much, and have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.